Mesopotamia was a very old place, a land that existed a long, long time ago. Its story begins around 3500 BC, nestled in a region we now call the Middle East. The name Mesopotamia means the land between the rivers, which perfectly describes its location. It was situated between two great rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates. These rivers were the lifeblood of the civilization, providing water for drinking and for farming. The land was fertile because the rivers would flood each year, leaving behind rich soil that was perfect for growing crops. This fertile area is often called the Fertile Crescent, a place where the first seeds of civilization were planted and began to grow into something truly remarkable. This ancient land is often called the cradle of civilization, and for a very good reason. It was here that people first began to build cities and live together in large, organized communities. Before this, most people were nomads, moving from place to find food. In Mesopotamia, they learned to stay in one spot, building permanent homes and developing a complex society. They created governments to keep order and establish laws for everyone to follow. This shift from a wandering lifestyle to a settled urban one was a monumental step in human history, laying the foundation for all the cities and nations that would follow in the millennia to come. The people who lived in this region were known as Mesopotamians, but this was a land of many different groups over thousands of years. The first major civilization to arise here was Sumer, in the southern part of Mesopotamia. The Sumerians were pioneers, creating many of the systems and inventions that defined the era. After the Sumerians, other powerful groups came to rule the land, including the Akkadians, the Babylonians, and the Assyrians. Each of these cultures added its own unique contributions to the rich tapestry of Mesopotamian history, building upon the achievements of those who came before them and creating a legacy that would echo through the ages. Today is July 7th, 2025, and when we look back at the timeline of human history, Mesopotamia stands out as a true beginning. It marks the point where humanity moved beyond simple survival and started to build a more complicated and interconnected world. The ideas and structures that first appeared between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers did not disappear when the civilization fell. Instead, they spread across the globe, influencing countless other cultures and societies. Understanding Mesopotamia is like reading the first chapter of our own collective story, a story of innovation, community, and the enduring human spirit's quest for progress and meaning. The people of Mesopotamia were incredible inventors, creating things that completely changed the way human beings lived and worked. Perhaps their most important invention was writing. Around 3200 BC, the Sumerians developed the first known writing system, called cuneiform. They used a stylus, a tool shaped like a wedge, to press marks into soft clay tablets. These tablets were then baked in the sun to make the writing permanent. At first, cuneiform was used to keep track of goods like grain and sheep. It was a simple way to record transactions and manage the growing economy of the cities, a practical solution to a complex problem. Over time, writing became much more than just a tool for counting. People started to use cuneiform to write down stories, laws, and letters to one another. This was a revolutionary development because it allowed knowledge to be passed down through generations accurately. Before writing, stories and histories had to be memorized and passed on by word of mouth, which meant they could easily be changed or forgotten. With written records, history itself could begin. We know so much about the Sumerians and their successors because their clay tablets have survived for thousands of years, giving us a direct window into their world. Another groundbreaking invention that emerged from Mesopotamia was the wheel. It is hard for us to imagine a world without wheels, but for most of human history, they did not exist. The first wheels, created around 3500 BC, were not used for transportation. Instead, they were used by potters to help them shape clay into bowls and jars more easily and evenly. This potter's wheel allowed for the mass production of pottery, which was essential for storing food and water in the growing cities. It was a simple machine, but it marked a major leap forward in manufacturing and craft. Soon after, the Mesopotamians adapted the wheel for a new purpose: transportation. They created carts and chariots by putting wheels on axles. This made it much easier to move heavy goods from one place to another, boosting trade and helping armies move more quickly. The invention of the wheeled cart transformed agriculture, allowing farmers to bring more of their harvest to the city markets. From the potter's studio to the farmer's field, the wheel set humanity in motion, paving the way for future innovations in travel and trade that would connect the world in ways previously unimaginable. Daily life in Mesopotamia was centered around agriculture and the community. Most people were farmers who spent their days working in the fields, planting crops like barley, wheat, and dates. They developed sophisticated irrigation systems, digging canals to bring water from the Tigris and Euphrates rivers to their fields. This allowed them to grow a surplus of food, which supported the people who lived in the cities. In the cities, there were many other jobs. People could be artisans such as potters, weavers, or metalworkers. Others were merchants, priests, scribes, or soldiers, each playing a vital role in the functioning of society. Religion was extremely important to the Mesopotamians, shaping every aspect of their lives. They believed in many gods and goddesses, a belief system known as polytheism. Each city had its own patron deity who was thought to protect it. To honor their gods, they built massive temples called ziggurats at the center of their cities. These were huge stepped pyramids made of mud bricks with a shrine at the very top. The Mesopotamians believed that the gods controlled everything, from the weather to the harvest, and they made offerings and prayed to keep the gods happy and ensure their city would prosper. One of the most famous and powerful cities in all of Mesopotamia was Babylon. For a time, it was the largest city in the world, a bustling center of trade, culture, and power. It was known for its incredible architecture, including the massive Ishtar Gate, which was decorated with bright blue glazed bricks and images of dragons and bulls. Babylon reached its greatest height under the rule of a king named Hammurabi, who came to power around 1792 BC. He was a brilliant military leader and a skilled administrator who united much of Mesopotamia under his control, creating the first Babylonian Empire. Hammurabi is most famous for creating one of the earliest and most complete written legal codes in history, known as the Code of Hammurabi. He had these 282 laws carved into a large stone pillar called a stele and placed it in a public place for everyone to see. The laws covered many aspects of daily life, from business contracts and family matters to crime and punishment. One of its famous principles was an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. This code was important because it meant that justice was not arbitrary but was based on written rules that applied to everyone, a foundational concept for legal systems ever since. The great civilizations of Mesopotamia eventually declined and fell, conquered by other rising empires. Their magnificent cities crumbled, and their knowledge was buried beneath the sand for centuries. Yet the legacy of Mesopotamia did not die. Its influence had already spread far and wide, passed on to other cultures like the Greeks and Romans, who then passed it on to the rest of the world. Many of the fundamental ideas that we take for granted today have their roots in this ancient land between two rivers. The very concept of a city, a government, and written laws started here. The innovations of the Mesopotamians continue to shape our modern world in countless ways. Every time we write something down, we are using a technology that began with cuneiform on clay tablets. Every time we use a wheeled vehicle, from a bicycle to a car, we are benefiting from an invention that first spun on a potter's wheel in Sumer. Even the way we measure time has a connection to Mesopotamia. The Babylonians were skilled astronomers who divided the hour into 60 minutes and the minute into 60 seconds, a system we still use on our clocks today. Their contributions are woven into the very fabric of our daily existence. Studying Mesopotamia teaches us about more than just history. It teaches us about ourselves. It shows us that many of the challenges we face today, such as how to organize a society, manage resources, and create a system of justice, are the same challenges that people faced thousands of years ago. It reveals the incredible capacity of human beings for creativity and problem solving. The story of Mesopotamia is a testament to the idea that great things can arise from simple beginnings, that a few settlements along a river can grow to change the entire course of human civilization. Therefore, the land between the rivers remains profoundly important. It is the starting point from which we can trace the development of so much of what we call progress. By unveiling the mysteries of Mesopotamia, we gain a deeper appreciation for the long and complex journey of humanity. We see that the past is not a distant, disconnected place, but is alive in the present, its echoes resounding in our laws, our language, our technology, and our cities. The history that began in Sumer is a story that is still being written, and we are all a part of its continuing chapters.